The winds of change have swept through Major League Baseball, ushering in a new era with rules that have profoundly altered the landscape of baseball games. These regulations have sparked a surge in hits, heightened aggression on the field, intensified offenses, and lots of spectacular defensive plays. Everything that fans crave, condensed into shorter, electrifying encounters on the diamond. Yet, as some players struggle to adapt, others find clever ways to use the new rules to their advantage. But not everyone is happy. Umpires quitting and angry managers are just a few of the problems witnessed with this overnight change, and these rules may just be the reason. But how deeply have these 2023 rules impacted MLB games? Stay tuned, as you're about to find out. These rules set to enhance baseball games ended up causing mayhem in their first few months. In September 2022, MLB introduced 3 new rules, drastically changing the game. These changes were instituted for the 2023 season, and all 3 appear to now be yielding a more enjoyable product on the field. However, players had to adapt first. After years of experimenting at the minor league level, the league implemented a pitch clock to save time, larger bases, and limited defensive shifts to increase action and entertain fans. But the players weren't thrilled. In just 3 days of spring training in the 2023 season, 69 pitch clock violations were recorded. Making history, Manny Machado received the very first out in the first inning, and James Karinchak was also penalized for requesting a new ball. In a tense 6-6 ball game between the Boston Red Sox and Atlanta Braves, the Braves second baseman Cal Conley was penalized with a strike for not getting into the batter's box on time on a 3-2 count. Despite bases loaded and Conley having a chance for a walk-off win, the game ended in a tie, sparking anger among many. MLB has long attempted to shorten games, but nothing seemed to work. The latest attempt began 8 years ago, with rules that were highly unpopular and ineffective, as players simply ignored them. In 2015, MLB implemented significant pace-of-play rule changes, including mandating that managers stay in the dugout during replay challenges, timed pitching changes, and requiring hitters to keep at least 1 foot in the batter's box during at-bats. However, hitters didn't really agree with the new rule to stay put in the batter's box, especially David Ortiz, who didn't hide how much he hated it. With an exception to certain cases, the MLB mandated that players who violated the rules would receive a fine of up to $500. At first, some players played by the rules, while others revolted. The league struggled to enforce fines consistently, rendering the rule ineffective. Consequently, players disregarded it altogether, compounding the issue it was meant to address. Recognizing the need for change, the MLB, in collaboration with the MLB Players Association, formed a Pace of Game Committee. Their goal is to devise strategies to speed up gameplay. Ironically, despite these efforts, game durations soared to record heights. The average game length ballooned to 3 hours and 2 minutes by 2014, a stark increase from the 2 hours and 33 minutes recorded in 1981. Furthermore, the implementation of the rule led to a full second increase in the time between pitches in 2015, intensifying the long-standing problem the league had grappled with for over a century. An article from the early 1900s shed light on the enduring challenge of lengthy games in the MLB. As far back as 1909, the Commissioner of Baseball voiced concerns about game durations, with the average length clocking in at a modest 1 hour and 45 minutes. By 1925, the American League took action, requiring teams to submit written reports to the league president for any game exceeding 2 hours. Fast forward to the 1950s, and players echoed similar grievances about game length, which had extended to an average of 2 hours and 20 minutes. Lengthier games not only irked players, who endured prolonged hours on the field, but also left spectators in the stands feeling drowsy and disengaged. In a bid to address this persistent issue, the MLB introduced various measures over the years. Since 2015, each stadium has been equipped with a countdown clock, mandating pitchers to cease warm-ups by the 30-second mark. In addition to other changes, such as managers challenging plays exclusively from dugouts, limited mound visits, and even implementing a ghost runner on second in extra innings, the MLB faced resistance from players regarding the inclusion of a pitch clock. Despite the successful implementation of these measures, players remained hesitant to agree to the pitch clock, which led the league to issue a warning. If the existing rules proved effective in addressing the game length issue, the pitch clock wouldn't be implemented. However, if they failed, the pitch clock would become part of the game. and that was precisely what unfolded in 2023. Despite diverse attempts to speed up games, the length of matches continued to increase, reaching its peak in 2021 when games were 23 minutes longer than they were in 1998. Consequently, the MLB introduced the pitch clock. Pitchers were now given 15 seconds to deliver pitches with no one on base and 20 seconds with runners on base, rather than proceeding at their own pace. Batters were allotted 8 seconds to step into the batter's box and prepare to hit. Failure to adhere to these timelines resulted in penalties. A violation by the pitcher resulted in a ball, while a violation by the batter led to a strike. While this might seem easy and straightforward, some pitchers, like Max Scherzer, found ways to exploit the rule, prompting MLB to make adjustments within the first month of its implementation. Scherzer, known for his quick pace, manipulated the rule to his advantage during spring training. He could hold onto the ball longer, forcing hitters to call time when they felt uncomfortable or throw the ball before batters were ready, leaving them no time to react. Scherzer pushed this to extremes, resulting in a violation and even a balk. Consequently, the MLB introduced the Scherzer rule, prohibiting players from coming set on the mound until batters were ready in the box. Despite initial skepticism, the pitch clock rule proved effective. When implemented in the minors earlier in 2022, the results were immediate. Over the first 132 minor league games under the new rules, the average game time was 2 hours and 39 minutes, 20 minutes shorter than the control set of 335 games run without the clock at the beginning of the season, and 24 minutes shorter than the 2021 season average of 3 hours and 3 minutes. Although it brought better results, there were mixed reactions to the pitch clock, with veteran relievers expressing concern about rushing through high-leverage situations. To also bridge the communication gap between pitchers and catchers from runners trying to steal their signs, which takes forever, the MLB introduced the pitch comp system, which allows catchers to electronically relay pitch calls to pitchers. And to even save more time, pitchers now tell catchers which pitch they are going to throw. Spearheaded by Max Scherzer and Zach Greinke during spring training, this approach has gained widespread adoption among players. This helps to save time pitchers use to shake off pitches, but also requires significant effort to adapt to. These rules aren't letting anyone out, as even bat boys have seen changes in their roles, which now demand heightened efficiency. Sluggish bat boys can cause delays in starting the pitch clock, crucial for maintaining fairness and effectiveness in the game. With MLB mandating that pitchers must be completely set before delivering a pitch, any constant toe tapping or lengthy wind-up motions are now deemed illegal, resulting in balks and advancing base runners. While these adjustments aim to close loopholes and speed up gameplay, players are still adapting to the new norms. However, this loophole isn't the most manipulated among teams, but the shift. Another significant change comes in the form of restrictions on defensive shift. MLB has imposed limits on shifts by mandating that all 4 infielders must position themselves on the dirt or grass infield, with 2 on each side of second base at the time of the pitch. Once the pitcher releases the ball, infielders are free to move. This rule not only promises more offensive action, but also enhances defensive strategies, satisfying the desire of fans. Originally, infielders were prohibited from switching sides mid-game, but this was revised to allow changes each inning, unless there's a mid-inning substitution. In other words, a player stationed at first or second base must hold their position for the duration of the inning, but can seamlessly transition to short or third base in the following inning. And this can only be reset if there's an injury mid-inning. This rule adjustment, implemented by the MLB, aims to inject more dynamic gameplay on the field and guarantee more engaging action for spectators. The motivation behind these changes stems from MLB's concern over declining offensive performance. In 2022, the league-wide batting average dropped to .243, the lowest since 1968. The use of defensive shifts surged by 858.3% over the past 9 years, with shifts employed in 33.7% of plate appearances in 2022. Following the prohibition of full shifts in the 2023 season, teams adjusted by shading their infielders for 22% of plate appearances. With this new rule in place, infielders are now required to cover more ground, execute more diving plays, and can't rely solely on being placed in a perfect position every time. However, this isn't the only regulation that has ensured more action. Recording a lower amount of stolen bases in 2022, the league aimed to inject more action into the game by increasing stolen base records while addressing the issue of player injuries. In 2022, John Bertie and George Matteo, with 41 and 35 stolen bases respectively, tailed a combined 76 steals for the season. Although some fans might perceive this as a significant figure, in reality, it's lower compared to that of Ricky Anderson, who led the league by 100 stolen bases in 1980. Teams have been reluctant to encourage base stealing due to concerns about player injuries, but this has changed as the new rule only allows pitchers to pick off 3 times per plate appearance, and if the third attempt fails, the runner automatically advances, eliminating the tactic of resetting the clock with continuous pickoff attempts, making stealing a lot easier. Furthermore, MLB increased the size of bases from 15 to 18 inches, reducing injuries around the bases while facilitating more stolen base attempts. During spring training alone, MLB noted a staggering 50% increase in stolen bases, setting the stage for an exciting 2023 season. Ronald Acuna Jr., the player who benefited most from the new rule, achieved a remarkable 66 steals, leading the league in 2023. Initially met with hatred from players and officials alike, there's no denying how much the 2023 new rules have affected MLB games. The impact was evident in the numbers. Total attendance for the 2023 MLB season surged to 70.7 million, marking a 9.6 increase from the previous year, and the first time since 2017 that total attendance surpassed 70 million. MLB reported that 26 out of 30 ball clubs experienced a year-over-year attendance uptick, and the average attendance for an MLB game reached 29,295. The effects were undeniable, as the MLB finally responded to the rules designed to quicken the pace of the game in 2023. A significant shift in the length of games became apparent. For the 2023 season, the average length of a 9-inning MLB game stood at 2 hours and 39 minutes, marking a 24-minute decline from the average length in 2022. This decrease was even more pronounced compared to 2021, which had set the mark of 3 hours and 10 minutes. In 2023, only 9 games lasted 3.5 hours or longer, a stark contrast to the 390 games that achieved this length in 2021. Moreover, fans were treated to lots of thrilling baseball action on the field. The batting average in 2023 saw a commendable increase to .248, a 5-point rise from 2022. The average number of runs scored per game also surged from 8.6 in 2022 to 9.2 in 2023. The resurgence of stolen bases was evident, with 1.4 stolen bases per game on 1.8 attempts in 2023, compared to an average of 1 stolen base per game with 1.4 attempts in 2022. MLB noted a remarkable improvement in the success rate of base stealing attempts, soaring from 75.4% in 2022 to a record high of 80.2% in 2023. Additionally, the total number of home runs escalated from 5,215 in 2022 to 5,868 in 2023. The number of strikeouts also witnessed an uptick, rising to 41,844 in 2023 from 40,812 in 2022, while the number of walks climbed to 15,819 in 2023 from 14,853. In a historic first for the 2023 season, all 30 MLB clubs faced each other at least once. These rules have indeed unfolded as anticipated, rendering games more captivating to watch and enriching the overall experience for fans. Share your thoughts and views with us in the comments section below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button right now for more baseball updates, and be sure to like this video if you found it enjoyable. We'll see you next time.